Do you know what demons you should never deal with?
All of them?
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea.
Yep. Welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Adam Andrews.
And I'm Amanda McKnight.
And we're gonna get a bit more specific as we count down the top 10 comic book demons you should never deal with.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, ever.
Number 10, Trigon. Trigon is the father of Titan member Raven. Raven is known for her insane power levels and her need to constantly keep them in check by not letting her emotions fly off the handle. This has often led to her being inaccurately labeled as an apathetic character. However, it's kind of just the opposite with her, to be honest. Raven is actually extremely empathic, which actually means she has to be even more careful when it comes to her emotions, because she not only has her own feelings that could potentially unleash a darkness within her, but also the emotions of everyone else around her. If you've seen Raven go dark, it's pretty terrifying, and this side of her pretty much exclusively comes from her dad, Trigon. Trigon is also known for being an insanely jacked demon lord, both in body and in power levels. Definitely not someone you would want to mess with, which is also typically why other folks usually try to steer clear of messing with Raven as well, because they are smart enough to avoid risking giving Trigon any reason to have a vendetta against them, which honestly, smart. Would not want to deal with that guy.
Number 9, Malebolgia. Look, I'm not even a huge Spawn fan, but even I know that not mentioning Malebolgia on this list would be a sin. The ruler of the 8th sphere of hell, Malebolgia, is the whole reason Al Simmons ever became Spawn in the first place. Over 70,000 years ago, this demon was created by a past ruler of hell using necroplasm rivers. But the demon was just so powerful that he betrayed, overpowered, and took the life of his creator. In order to wage a war on heaven and destroy God, he created an army of Hellspawn, but he needed a general, which is apparently in pretty short supply. So when he found Al Simmons, he went hard to corrupt the man. He made a deal with a man named Jason Wynn to take Al's life. Now, in Hell, Malebolgia made a deal for Al to become his general in exchange for being able to see his wife. What Al didn't sign up for was being sent back to the mortal plane 5 years into the future. Malebolgia continued to tear down Spawn until Spawn went back to Hell and attacked the demon with the help of Angela and her blade, which he used to lop the head clean off this demon. But that didn't stop the demon for too long.
Number 8, Naster, or as I like to say, Nasty. That's what I like to call him, but I don't know if that's how it's intended. You can let me know in the comments how you think that's intended to be said, or if someone has actually said it somewhere and I missed it. If I've learned anything from the tragic tale of Madeline Pryor, it's that you maybe shouldn't make deals with demons from Limbo. Although that being said, I do love Madeline Pryor as the Goblin Queen, and I kinda love the woman that she has become. So maybe you should make deals with demons like Naster. I don't know. No. Probably best to just don't do it, even though it's tempting. Unless you want to conquer New York and unleash the demon hordes of Limbo upon it, and also do so through, ritual sacrifice. A ritual sacrifice that may demand you sacrifice your own kin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on dealing with Nasty myself. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here and if you also love demons and know a weird amount of demons from the comics like both Adam and I do, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up.
Number 7, Anton Arcane. Imagine being such a nasty, evil guy that once you are finally destroyed and are sent to hell, they recognize you and give you a promotion so that you can return as a demon. Well, that's what happened to Anton Arcane. Anton was basically a depraved and cruel scientist who was obsessed with immortality and biology. He would begin to mix science with dark magic, becoming the arch-nemesis to Swamp Thing, who he thought held the key to immortality. He had a whole army of deformed unmen that he would cause problems for the world and Swamp Thing with, being defeated multiple times until his actual passing. But that just left him free for a demon upgrade. Needless to say, he's not someone you ever want to run into. In the Prime Earth continuity, Arcane stumbled upon a trapped rabbit in the woods, got excited, and ate the rabbit's rotting remains. The act was so nasty that the Parliament of Decay came to him and made him their avatar, and he did their bidding for more than a century. Either way, an absolutely disgusting human turned into a demon. Not fun.
Number 6, Lucifer. As much as I love Lucifer, I would never strike a bargain with him. I've read enough comics to learn that it does not tend to end well for those that do. And even when it seems like you're making a deal that would actually be in your favor, it sounds good, even when Lucifer seems to be, like giving you a gift. It's generally not what it seems, and usually striking the bargain or accepting said gift makes your life a living hell. Add in the fact that Lucifer Morningstar is also one of the most powerful beings in the whole dang multiverse over at DC, perhaps even the Omniverse, and it makes sense that many beings, even some of the most powerful like Dream, don't generally like to leave themselves vulnerable in Lucifer's presence or indebted to them. While Lucifer doesn't usually make a habit of lying to anyone and is actually more likely to be blatantly honest with those whom they deal with, that doesn't mean that they aren't skilled at manipulating and tricking people. Even more terrifying when you consider that generally Lucifer does this honestly. While we could easily classify Lucifer as demonic, as I've done here, being that, you know, Lucifer is known for having been the ruler of hell for more than a millennia, technically Lucifer is actually a fallen angel. Just adding this to let you know that yes, I do know that, yes, but also Lucifer's connection to hell trumps everything to me.
Number 5. Shuma Gorath. Shuma Gorath is the greatest of the leaders of the Old Ones, also known as the Many-Angled Ones. Think like Lovecraftian old gods, and that's basically the Old Ones. Madness and tentacles and cosmic horror. That kind of thing. Shuma Gorath is the ruler of hundreds of dimensions and is said to be older than the universe itself. It has many mystical powers, including the ability to communicate and control others across dimensions, create mystical energy blasts from his eye and tentacles, and can transmute things on a planetary scale. He can destroy multiple galaxies with his aura pressure ability, and can destroy realities by using tentacle energy balls. This monster's being first fully premiered in Marvel Premiere Volume 1, number 10. In the comic, Shuma Gorath ends up using the mind of the Ancient One, Doctor Strange's mentor, as a portal to the dimension of Earth. It eventually leads Doctor Strange having to take the life of his mentor and become Sorcerer Supreme. Other stories have showed all the Earth's heroes even struggling to scratch a simple representation of Shuma Gorath. This demon is less a force to be reckoned with and more like an unstoppable cosmic apocalypse who none of us would survive against. So yeah, we don't want to deal with him.
Number 4. Sim. If there is any one demon from Marvel that first comes to mind when I think untrustworthy, one of my tippy top picks would be Sim. Sim is typically the right hand demon of whoever happens to be running Limbo at the time, which is precisely why if you take over Limbo and he offers his services, you should just say no and don't trust him. Probably backstab you at some point. I've seen it happen too many times.
Number 3. Neron. Dan Cassidy was a pro-Hollywood stuntman for a long time. His last project was the horror flick The Blue Devil, for which he designed, created, and had to wear a mechanical blue suit equipped with the superhero starter pack of super strength, speed, stamina, agility, durability, the whole thing, plus some enhanced senses. Now after Dan's crush and some of the crew accidentally freed a vicious demon named Nibiros, Dan was magically fused to the costume, trapping him inside the suit forever. Now you may think that would make Nibiros the bad guy here, but Dan later would make a deal with one of DC's most powerful demons, the fallen angel and hell lord known as Neron, gaining fame in exchange for Dan's loved ones. Now that's a bad deal. After Dan fought Neron, he was turned into a real Blue Devil, but that was just part of a story called Underworld Unleashed, where Neron played the enemy to the Justice League when he came to Earth and offered both heroes and villains their wildest dreams in exchange for their immortal souls. Neron has also been responsible for the deaths of both Wonder Woman and the alien Mongol, and has attempted to corrupt so many different heroes like Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, Shazam, Superman, the Spectre, the Elongated Man, Dr. Fate, and more.
Number 2. Azazel. While Marvel has their own Azazel, the one from DC is quite different, as you can obviously hear just even between those two pronunciations. He is one of the 3 princes of hell over at DC, ruling alongside Beelzebub and Lucifer. Azazel was also a fallen angel condemned to hell for his own part in the rebellion against God in heaven. Azazel was known for corrupting humanity by introducing them to the concept of sin. He came to Dream following Lord Morpheus' acquisition of the key to hell, making a case for why it should be returned to him and all of demonkind, as hell had been, and was, their rightful realm and home. Ultimately though, he was not given the key, despite not only stating his case, but also bargaining with the Dream Lord and then attempting to renounce his hospitality and attack those under his care, which went about as well as you can imagine it went. It did not go well for Azazel. I don't know why he thought that would be a good idea. All in all, that's a pretty bad play when you're in the Dream Lord's realm, but it definitely serves to show how he simply can't be trusted, so hence why I'm talking about it on this list.
And finally, in at number 1, Mephisto. If there's one thing you should know about Mephisto, it's that he is not the kind of demon you want to be going signing contracts and shaking hands with. Mephisto is infamous for his use of wordplay to extort all kinds of people out of their or their loved ones' souls in exchange for a flawed promise of power, happiness, peace of mind, or good fortune. Mephisto has been responsible for a whole number of things in Marvel Comics, like the whole corrupting Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden thing, the creation of multiple different Ghost Riders, the conflict between Apocalypse and the 10th Century Avengers. He caused the corruption of Norman Osborn, sending him down the path of becoming the Green Goblin. He held the soul of Victor Von Doom's mom hostage for a very good long time, and he was instrumental in the infamous One More Day storyline where he saved the life of Aunt May and erased everyone's mind of Spider-Man's secret identity in exchange for Peter and Mary Jane's marriage, which is just straight up rude. This demon isn't Satan, but he uses that persona to trick people even further. Never make a deal with the devil, and never make a deal with Mephisto, ever. Just don't do it, it's bad.
That's all the time we have for this list, although truth be told, there are lots more demons from comics you should really never deal with. And maybe like 2 that you could maybe deal with, maybe.
You got 2. Maybe we'll get to talk about more of those ones not included here in part 2, but until then, be careful out there. Don't deal with demons, and we shall see you next time.
Stay nerdy.
Peace out.
Bye.